The injunction hearing between the City of Nanaimo and the homeless camp known as Discontent City wrapped up yesterday in BC Supreme Court. The two-day hearing heard lawyers from both sides submit affidavits from members of the community and business owners painting a very different picture about what they see at the homeless camp. For an in-depth recap of what was said and debated during the two-day hearing, check out our Facebook page. The judge presiding over the case reserved his decision for a later date. However, the judge did issue an interim fire safety order against Discontent City, to which they have 1 week to comply with the City of Nanaimo's fire safety requirements. In an interview earlier today, Nanaimo Mayor Bill McKay told Nanaimo News that both sides gave a lot of information for the judge to make his decision. A major concern that has been raised by community members opposed to Discontent City is whether or not the residents of the homeless camp are actually from Nanaimo. A point-in-time homeless count was conducted earlier this year by the John Howard Society on behalf of the Government of Canada, and the residents found that the majority of homeless surveyed were in fact from Nanaimo. However, opponents to the camp state that the count was conducted before the camp launched in May, and that an influx of homeless from outside of Nanaimo have since arisen because of Discontent City. So far, there are no concrete numbers to back up this claim, but the perception certainly exists within the community. When Nanaimo News asked the mayor about whether or not he believes the majority of homeless are from Nanaimo, Mayor McKay stated that, "From what our staff have told us, there's a significant number of homeless at the camp who are not from Nanaimo. And from what he understands, there are a number of residents at the camp who are refusing to give their names, so it is difficult to say with certainty whether or not they are from the city." Addressing many of the concerns voiced in the community about crime in the neighborhood surrounding Discontent City, Mayor McKay went on to say that, "I have concerns with crime in the city itself. Citizens are petrified and afraid." Another major concern that has been voiced by both opponents and supporters of Discontent City is what will happen if the City of Nanaimo receives their injunction against the camp at One Port Drive. The court order would remove the 200 to 300 residents living at the camp from the property. However, those people are still going to have to go somewhere and could result in the streets and parks in downtown Nanaimo being overrun by displaced homeless citizens. Mayor McKay told Nanaimo News that the City of Nanaimo has reached out with and is having conversations with both Island Health as well as BC Housing about how to handle the potential influx of displaced homeless. Discontent City spokesperson Amber McGrath, in response to Mayor McKay's comments that the city was having conversations with BC Housing and Island Health about what will happen if the injunction is granted, told Nanaimo News that, "It would be nice to see them get help. We want new, affordable social housing with tenants' rights. With Island Health, we need more detox beds, more trauma-based treatment, and we need safe consumption sites." On the issue of whether or not the residents of Discontent City are from Nanaimo, Ms. McGrath told Nanaimo News that she had recently conducted an anonymous survey and surveyed 130 camp residents. Of the 130 residents, 73% of respondents answered that they lived in Nanaimo for 2 years or more, and voiced serious concerns about misinformation in the community surrounding the City of Nanaimo and homelessness, specifically pointing to the modular housing project that was recently rejected by Nanaimo City Council in Chase River, which was the catalyst that led to both Discontent City popping up on One Port Drive, as well as a smaller tent city that appeared on City Hall's front lawn earlier this year. Mayor McKay said that there is misinformation in the community as to how come the province did not allow Nanaimo the time it needed to have a conversation with the community about the modular housing project. The mayor stressed that in a lot of cases where modular housing comes to a neighborhood, there are always concerns from the people living there, and the best way to address those concerns is through communication and giving the community all of the details and facts. There were many concerns raised by the community in Chase River at the time the project was announced earlier this year, with a major issue being the lack of communication or information being made available to the community about the project and the potential impact it would have on the community. The mayor told Nanaimo News that the City of Nanaimo was prepared to fast-track the project through an alternative approval process after all the details were out on the table and after the city could have a serious conversation with the Chase River community this project was going to have the most impact on. According to Mayor McKay, it was the minister who chose to move on. The city was prepared to meet the provincial timelines by the end of the year. He continued that the city is willing and able to have a conversation with BC Housing, and we are willing and able to house Nanaimo's homeless. Stay tuned to Nanaimo News for original content updated daily and any updates surrounding Discontent City and the Injunction hearing as we receive it.